not just their guards, but that big guy team.
You know, they're balanced, and their shooters. You know, they always have 4 dead-eye, long-range shooters in the court. And I was just telling TV people, you know, some people are really good shooters, colors right on the line, and these guys, you know, 2, 3, 4 steps off the line. Multiple people on their team. So they surround a T who's a very good offensive player and a very good passer. You know, it's not like once he gets it, you know, he's a black hole and once he gets it, he go at it hard, don't worry about it. He kind of waits and picks it apart and then he can score himself. So they pose a good offensive team.
You have to show him multiple looks, double teams from different angles, sometimes high. You're not going to
I think we want to show them what it is.
When a coach begins a season, you obviously have a vision of what your team, what you expect your team to look like, what you want to accomplish, and so forth. I mean, this has been such a maddeningly up and down seasons, little chunks of good and little chunks of bad. How different is this from what you envisioned, and how much of an adjustment on the fly have you had to make?
Well, I don't think that's abnormal. Meaning, you know, when you start off, when the last season ends, when the season ends, you know, go through your introspection of what you think next year will look like. You know, once the kids get here in the summer, you start to, okay, maybe not, maybe this, maybe so. You know, then once practice starts, actually once workout starts. So I think it's fluid. You know, I think if you, personally, I can't speak for everyone, but if you just stick to this is what we're going to look like, this is what we're going to do. Sometimes that works, but most years it's fluid, it's an evolution, and so you know, you're continually making changes, adjustments, adaptations to what we thought and how we thought we'd be doing things in July, August.
It looks like the biggest change recently has been the faster tempo. Is that pretty much here to stay, and how?
Did Craig send that question? Did Craig send that question to you?
I'm feeling some mental vibes from Washington Examiner. Exactly.
True. Well, I think that as I said, you know, been saying all year, you know, we have to rebound better. You know, if you rebound better and create turnovers, then you can get out and run. It's easy. There's a pace, run. If you don't have possession of the ball, you can't do that. And then coupled with that, I think for the most part, and there are exceptions, and you guys can probably pick this apart, but our defense has been pretty good. And so the opposition is holding the ball for longer during possessions as they look for shots.
In the vein of the earlier question about adapting as the season unfolds, how have you, as the team, adjusted to Greg being out?
That was last week's question.
Oh, wasn't
Were you
it?
around last week?
No, I was.
Okay.
Little chalk dusting. So yes, I'm writing a remedial story. So.
We have, you know, it's as I said last week several times, we're a better team with him. There's no two ways about that. We're a better team with him. And, you know, injuries happen, different things happen. You have to make adjustments. Guys have stepped up. You know, but there've been, I think, stop short of saying significant changes, believe it or not. None of which I want to go into.
Speaking of evolution, is somebody kind of moving into that third consistent score role, or would that be by committee?
I think it's game by game. You know, I don't sit out. It's kind of tied in. I don't sit out and chart. I want this to be my primary score. This is my secondary. This is the third. This is the fourth. You know, we're going to continue to need someone to put the ball in the basket. With the exception of last game, Devontae has done a pretty good job, and we're going to continue to lean on him to score points. As I said from the very beginning, with him, he has the ability, which everyone does not have. He has the ability to score points himself, but at the same time, be a facilitator. A lot of guys have just been programmed to think me. And other guys have just been programmed to think you. He does a pretty good job of knowing when to get his and when to help others.
Every season has its ups and downs, obviously. It seems like from the outside, this one has had more extremes than others. Does it feel like that from
why?
you? Well, I mean, you know, first you had a couple of doggone pretty good games in November. You take the number one team in overtime, and then you have a couple of games where you struggle to score 40 or 50, and then you come out this last week, you have 2 great wins over ranked teams. I mean, to the dispassionate observer trying to figure out Georgetown, it's like, well, which Georgetown am I going to see today? I don't know how, and that's why I'm asking you. Does it feel like that on the inside?
We've had good days. We've had bad days.
Yeah.
We've had bad days where we've had losses, bad days where we've had victories. We've had good days where we've had losses.
Yeah.
Good days where we've had victories. I think a lot of that happens when you don't have seniors. A lot of that, that happens when you have. And I've said all along. I think you guys have heard me say, in many ways, our sophomore class is like the core of a lot of things that we're doing, and you forget that they're sophomores, that they're still learning, they're still growing. And all of a sudden, all those roles are much different than it was last year. Jabril's role is much different than it was last year. Mikhail's role is much different than it was last year. Prior to him not being here, Greg's role. And so they're growing and learning. And at the same time, we're not leaning on them. Whereas last year, you're leaning on Jason, Hollis, and Henry, and what they get is a bonus. So I forget where I was going with that, but I think it's a function of who we are, and probably knew it was going to be a little bit like that going in. One thing we've tried to, as a staff, as me, just try to have a stabilizing force be our defense. If we can be good every night on defense, we can hopefully, knock on wood, weather the ups and downs of the court.
In terms of the defense, was there anything galvanizing or transformative about the loss to Pittsburgh? That had that sort of flipped a switch and changed things for your kids, or was it just an aberrant that was bad?
No, that's 2 different ends of the spectrum. It necessarily wasn't an aha moment, but
Gotcha.
we don't treat it like it's an aberration, and
Gotcha.
so let's forget about it either.
Okay.
And so it's not an either or by any stretch of the matter. Did we go back and look at that and break things down and understand how much better we have to be than we were that night? Absolutely. But a lot of those things that we didn't do that night, we were supposed to have already been doing. So it's not like I don't mean. It's like you gave me like heaven or hell. Right? It's
I get you. Yes.
It's somewhere in the middle.
Is it hard to prepare young guys to face a team like Seton Hall, who's, for lack of a better word, as random offensively as they are? I mean, you never know where it's going to come from or how it's going to come.
It's hard to prepare for them, young or old. We were a little more experienced last year, and blew the doors off of us up there. And so it's a team where you have to be good guarding your man, and you have to be good playing the team defense. If you get too locked into, I'm just going to stop my man and forget about my teammates, they pick you apart. And if you just focus in on team defense and not worry about your man, they pick you apart also. So you have to really be good, locked in, tuned in every aspect. Excuse me, defense.
Markel's performance against Louisville. Now that a couple of days to think about it and look more tape. What did you think about his effort on both ends of the court?
He was good.
And to take it to another question, then you obviously had some strong guards prior to him, but it seems on some level when you look at the whole picture that he must seem to have maybe more responsibility than those other players did.
I'm not sure whether I agree with that, but I'm not sure I don't either. He has a big responsibility with this team, absolutely. He has the responsibility of what I said with Devontae is getting to be pretty good at it. He has to score, but he has to get other people's shots, and he has to guard. And I think I said it in the post-game press conference. Did I say
Missed
it?
that.
Did I say it?
Missed that, yeah.
I think I said in the post-game press conference. One thing I think he was very good at, just fighting over those screens. Because against him, you're going to get hit with a screen every possession down court, multiple possessions. The guy who's setting the screen is good at setting screens, and the guy who's coming off is terrific. So I think his effort, it's trying to keep them in front of him, on top of everything else, on top of the scoring, on top of the passing. I thought that was outstanding. So,
He's obviously a very confident young man. How important is it to have a guy like that in a leadership role when you guys start off 1-2, you lose Greg, have a guy like that to help keep everybody positive or something?
I was going to say, are you sure he was keeping everyone positive?
Well, at least
it's important, and he's confident, and believes in himself, and he believes in us and what we're doing. And that's I think the closing question, I think more so just about him, but he believes in us and what we're doing, and that's crucial.
So now that you know
Don't say it.
now that you know
Is
that,
that it?
Devontae and Jabril's rebounding numbers, does that really help you stay with more guard-oriented lineups? It seemed like at the beginning it was Markel and more forwards. The other day we even saw a lineup where there was basically 4 guards, and not even necessarily like the distinguished between guards and forwards at the time.
I thought we had 5 guards, so I consider all of them.
Okay, so you want a 5-guard lineup. But no, it just seems to be, Smith Rivera seems to be rebounding above his playing weight or height. His numbers are, I think he has more rebounds than Hopkins.
Yeah, well, it's something that I think I told you guys this one, Greg. You know, one thing we stressed is that we need more than anything else someone to make up for his rebound. And everything else, you know, I think we can figure out, but we need someone. And I think that Devontae has been doing it. Jabril only had 1 good rebound today.
Okay.
Don't say that, don't break that publicly. But he had 8 the other day, but prior to that, I've been on him pretty hard about rebound because physically, you look at him and he's someone that should be in there. And Devontae just has a knack for it. But as a whole, something, you know, we aren't differentiating guards, forwards, centers. Everyone's got to get in there. Everyone must be a better rebounder if we're going to have success. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
now that you know that AB is one of the greatest athletes in the world, how hard is it going to keep him from bolting to the gas line?
Well, I don't agree with everything Markel says. So I wouldn't necessarily put AB in the greatest athlete in the world category.
Universe, I thought.
The universe.
Universe,
I think
yeah.
the reference is planet.
Planet. What, he didn't say which planet.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know what I want you to write this either, but I'll tell you what I said to Aaron. I said, Aaron, I mean, that was a spectacular play.
Right.
Spectacular play. When we needed it, ended up being the game-winning points. So now, you can go get some regular rebounds, too.
You're basic, jump up, come down with the ball.
Exactly.
It does seem like he's trying for those backs a lot. I mean, there's been a lot of missed opportunities. That's the play he's going for.
And he flies in for offensive rebounds. He's not flying for defensive rebounds.
Anything else?
Since we're on Bowen, has there been something different in his play that you saw to get him in besides Greg's absence?
No. I mean, I think he's done what he's been asked when he's been out there. And so, probably not.
Markel wants to be a